patient to desaturate if you stop giving the patient oxygen after you've adequately maxed the patient for 3 minutes. Basically, the apneic time.
I assume you meant apnea time. For a healthy 23-year-old, 75-kilogram patient who's been pre-oxygenated with adequate bad mask ventilation for 3 minutes, they should have a good oxygen reservoir. In an ideal scenario, a healthy young adult can typically maintain oxygen saturation above 90% for about 6 to 8 minutes during apnea before desaturating significantly. This assumes optimal pre-oxygenation, replacing alveolar nitrogen with oxygen, and no airway issues. Factors like high metabolic rate or poor mask seal could shorten this to 4 or 5 minutes. Want me to tweak this for any specific conditions or clarify anything?
Yes, I want you to tell me how you're able to get to that 6 to 8 minutes.
That 6 to 8 minutes comes from a few key factors. First, 3 minutes of good bag mask ventilation with high flow oxygen pushes out nitrogen from the lungs, filling them mostly with oxygen. This is called denitrogenation. For a healthy 23-year-old with a 75-kilogram body, their functional residual capacity is about 2 to 3 liters, which becomes a big oxygen reservoir. Their oxygen consumption is roughly 250 milliliters per minute at rest, so the stored oxygen can last a while. Studies show that healthy adults, when pre-oxygenated like this, can typically stay above 90% saturation for 6 to 8 minutes during apnea. It's shorter if they're obese, have lung issues, or if pre-oxygenation wasn't optimal. Want me to break down the math or dive into any specific part?
Yes, I want you to break down the math.
Okay, let's break it down. For a healthy 23-year-old weighing 75 kilograms, their functional residual capacity, the lung volume that stays after a normal breath, is about 2 to 3 liters. During those 3 minutes of pre-oxygenation with 100% oxygen, we assume most of that gets replaced with oxygen. So let's say they've got roughly 2.5 liters of oxygen stored. A healthy person uses about 250 milliliters of oxygen per minute at rest. Dividing 2.5 liters by 250 milliliters per minute gives us about 10 minutes of oxygen supply, theoretically. But in reality, not all the oxygen is accessible due to dead space and diffusion limits. So it's more like 6 to 8 minutes before saturation drops below 90%, as studies on apneic oxygenation show. Factors like metabolism or imperfect pre-oxygenation can shave that down. Want me to dig into any specific variable, like dead space or something else?